Why East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast?
Because neither one of us wear pink camo.
East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look, man, I'm from Wisconsin, and I listen to East Coast Bow Hunters because you don't get anything more real than these guys.
Because East Coast Bow Hunting sets the standards for keeping its listeners informed on everything that matters in the hunting industry.
It's nice having somebody, local and represent the East Coast boys.
The East Coast is going to saddle up.
Number one source for slaying whitetails on the East Coast.
Well, you might see Jesus if you actually shoot something, it'll get you into heaven.
Why East Coast? Why not? I'm East Coast, baby. That's how we roll. Chew on that.
Come on the show, a stranger, and you feel like one of the boys when you leave.
Because I get my hunting camp anytime I want.
There's some absolute monsters roaming the East Coast, and I think it needs a little attention, so why not bring it to the East Coast Bow Hunters Podcast?
Man, because East Coast is a tight-knit crew, and y'all like me. Raw, real, no bullshit.
Because you guys are hometown boys. I love you guys.
East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast.
This is Kurt Geyer with Working Class Bow Hunter, and East Coast Bow Hunting Podcast is the only hunting podcast I'll tune into.
This is the East Coast Bow Hunter Podcast. I'm your boy D-Rock here with
East Coast Trev.
We're sponsored by Elite Archery. Make the switch. And all we ask is, there's a lot of good bows out there. Just go out there and shoot one. You never know. It might be for you. We're also brought to you by Gator Outdoors, outfitting the working class. They're the one-stop shop online hunting place to be. So, welcome to the show. We have a very special treat on this episode. I'm super excited. What about you, Trev?
Super excited.
This is something that we've been meaning to do about maybe 5 months ago, but the schedules and the stars haven't aligned, so super happy to make this happen. Welcome to the show, Austin Jones. This is awesome to have you in studio, quote unquote, in the Zeus booth at the 2020 ATA. Thank you, man.
I'm excited to be on here.
So, who's this gentleman to your left right here?
My dad.
Your
sadly.
Dad. Sadly, your dad. Poor Jason.
Allegedly his dad. Let's
Allegedly.
clarify.
Yeah. Well, you help him out, so I guess there must be some truth to it,
It works out.
Well, Jason, welcome to the show too, man.
Thank
Glad
you.
to have you here, man.
Glad
Austin, tell us who you are, where you're from, and where we can find you.
All right, I'm Austin. I basically just travel the country and shoot archery. I hunt a lot. On as much as I possibly can. And then we film our stuff and make some videos every once in a while. We just, I just like to inspire people and try to change lives. And you can find me on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that at Jones Boys Hunting Squad.
Hell yeah.
We got some cool stuff on there.
Nice. So, what started this whole venture, the Jones Hunting Squad?
Honestly, I don't really know. We were kind of just sitting there one day and we're like, we should start a Facebook page. And it just kind of, we all started it, and it just kind of went from there. There was nothing really to it. We didn't have a plan or anything.
Right. So, you're kind of like the highlight of the show, right? You're the killer of the squad?
He's the only one that gets to hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the only one that hunts.
Nice.
My dad sucks at it, so it's worthless.
Shots fired.
Okay, but whose deer are in the freezer this year? Not yours.
Ooh, low blow.
All right.
This was a tough year for you, were saying, right?
Yeah, I didn't get to hunt it all fall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hunted in September. September was killer. We had some really cool experiences there, but from October on, I didn't get to hunt until 5 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I could understand how you were saying it was slow and stuff, but last year was pretty killer, right?
Yeah, last year was awesome. We killed, what all did we kill last? 2018?
A lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of time, but...
See, you killed a bison, a coos deer.
I shot at an aoudad. We hunted turkeys. We did all kinds of stuff. And 2018 was a fun year. How many states did we hunt?
I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah, enough. Yeah.
So far, you've hunted, 13, 14 states altogether?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive, man. So you could kind of say you're kind of a little bit of a hunting whore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You get around.
It's my life, yeah.
That's a good life to have, you know? That's awesome, man. You know, what do you guys mainly focus on in the Jones Hunting Squad? Like, what's your objective? You said you like to inspire people, but what's your main focus out of the squad?
It's called Jones Boys Hunting Squad.
Boys Hunting Squad, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. But we don't really have any kind of plan other than just to do our own thing and inspire people along the way. We don't really follow any rules.
Cool. Kind of like us. We're kind of all over the place, and
yeah,
you either love us
we
or
just
you
go
hate
with the
us.
flow.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Dad? I see you.
Yeah. Well, we never have a plan. We kind of. There's a lot of ebbs and tides. Like this year, Austin had surgery, and that's what screwed up our hunting this year. But normally, I don't know. Usually, we spend about 20 weeks a year on the road between his archery tournaments and hunting, and we. He just feels that he was given a second chance. He's been on life support since he was 6 years old. He feels like he was given a second chance to inspire people, and so that's all he's trying to do. And and I'm blessed that we get to do it, through hunting. I mean, it's not like we're doing anything big or special, but the little bit that we're doing and the messages that he gets about what he's doing and how he inspires people and changes people's lives and stuff that's why I keep doing it. And because, I just want to spend every second I can with my kid.
So I kind of have to disagree because you're saying you're not doing anything big or special, but it's huge, man. I think the impact that you guys are influencing, especially our industry, since it's a small industry.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everyone knows everyone.
Yep.
Right. And the fact that you're so impactful, that what you're doing specifically, Austin, I think it's going to inspire even the non-hunter that may relate to your situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's part of it. I wanna show people that, like, no matter what the situation is, if I can do it, somebody else can too. So
hell yeah. And you're multi-talented though. See, you're like the dude that wears many masks. Like, it's like, okay, Austin, yeah, he's a killer. He slays a lot of stuff. But then all of a sudden, I edit my own films. I self-hunt, this and that. I'm like, what? I spot and stalk. Like, wait a minute. There's a lot of people that can't do that. And you just said, well, if I could do it, I think you should give yourself a little more credit. So
I can't even do those things. I'm not really sure.
He's got to try, though. That's all there is to it.
Exactly.
Like your turkey calling. Most of us can't turkey call by mouth on the spot like you can.
All right.
Let's hear it.
I can't do it.
Yeah, you can.
Dude.
What?
I thought you use a diaphragm to sound something like that, man.
Yeah, I can't use a diaphragm. I can't use one.
Yeah. That's
it's
pretty
my
damn
tongue.
good.
It's naturally talented.
Ooh. You hear that, ladies? I think there's going to be a lot of lady listeners be like, who is this Austin? I need to know him.
He's a neck breather. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, man. So take us through, like, for example, when you started this new venture, right? Take us through the first time that you put your hunt on film for this.
Probably the very first thing we shared was it was that deer that I killed on Christmas Day, right?
Yeah, it was.
So
I think.
It was probably 2013, 2012.
Yeah,
2012, the whole season was screwed up. My wife, which I think is a good thing, but she donated her kidney, which is awesome, but she donated it on October 3rd, and you can't lift anything for 6 weeks like Austin, so she couldn't take care of Austin, so she screwed up my whole rut, which, I mean, I'm all for kidney donation and organ donation, but don't do it during the rut. No. And then, so the following year was kind of a rough year, and it was Christmas Day. My older two kids had already moved out, and so it was just us, and we didn't have a lot of money, so we weren't going to do anything special for Christmas. Austin had traded one of his crossbows to a guy who wanted a crossbow for his kids for an old muzzleloader, and he said, hey, Dad, why don't you take that muzzleloader out? So I went out on this Christmas morning.
Nice.
And it was the most perfect Christmas morning. I go in this woodlot across the road. There's 40 acres, some tall row pine trees, and I mean, I walk in there, and there's turkey strutting and gobbling, and there's deer everywhere. There were bucks everywhere. I only had a doe tag, and so I was sneaking through there, and then this doe comes through, and I'm on the ground. I shoot her at like 9 yards, and then instead of dragging her back, I went back and got Austin in his track chair, and then he dragged her back through the snow. It was a beautiful snowfall, lots of snow, and then we just posted that, and people saw it, and they were kind of like, wow, look at this kid dragging a deer. And so then we started Facebook. I think we had the Facebook page.
Yeah, that was on
We already
Facebook.
had the Facebook page, but we posted that on Facebook. And that's kind of where people started taking notice of him and the things he's doing. And then it just kind of went crazy from, well, not really crazy, but, I mean, for us it's pretty crazy from there. And actually what the predecessor to that was we met a couple years before that. We went to the Woods and Water Show. It's a big show in Michigan, fall outdoor show. And we ran into a guy named Ray Brown who's in a wheelchair, and he started a foundation called Wheeling Team 457. And we met him, and he took Austin over and showed him a track chair, and then he helped us get started hunting. I mean, we hunted before, but I didn't know how to get Austin out in the woods, and so that caused me to not take my older boy hunting as much as I should have. And then once we figured out that we could take Austin hunting, everything went crazy. I mean, we hunted all those things that I'd always dreamed about hunting. You know, now we're hunting out west and all that stuff. But back to Ray Brown and the track chair, if it wasn't for that, that was the catalyst for everything. And that just kind of, you know, and they've done so much to inspire Austin through what they do, because he sees what they do, and then he wants to, you know, work just as hard. And in many respects, he's been able to, I don't want to say surpass what they're doing, but he's branched out, you know. I mean, and they're still local in Michigan, and Austin has been blessed. I mean, and it's to hunt all over the country, and it's all through social media. I mean, we meet people all over the country in social media. They open their hearts and homes to us, and so he gets to hunt a lot of places, and it's cool.
That's insane, man. So to speak, you're living the dream in the hunting world, man. That's awesome.
I really am. I can't even explain how blessed I've been. It's crazy. Like, I never imagined in my entire life that I'd be doing this kind of thing.
That's got to be something special that you hold dear to your heart, man.
It is. Like, when I was younger, I always wanted to do something with baseball. I wanted to be a baseball manager.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. Once I started hunting, everything else just kind of was like, didn't matter.
Right.
Like, hunting was everything to me, so it's just what I did. And, like, I don't know. It turned out cool.
Hell yeah, I would say so. You know, it's definitely an inspiration for sure to just see the up and coming and making a presence and being an influencer now. You know, that you do have that in the age of knowledge right now, like where we're exposed to so much knowledge, and then social media on top of it, it's very easy to just put it out there. Yeah. You know, so I mean the track chair. I do have to ask, what was probably the most difficult hunt that you had with the track chair? Because it looks like basically like a mini tank with the tracks, right?
Yeah.
So there had to be some kind of obstacle with that.
There's the biggest thing about the track chair is it's just a rough ride. There's nothing smooth about it, but it gets me where I need to go for the most part. So, like, I would say our most difficult hunt might have been Texas when we hunted buffalo and all that. There was a lot of rocks, and going over rocks, and like there's no suspension, so when I go up on a rock, my chair has to tip forward and slam down.
Jeez.
And it's just it was a tough hunt, but it was well worth it.
Oh, I'm sure, man. I'm sure. And just so you know, I mean, this is a huge year for us as well, where we just announced the Zeus Broadheads sponsorship to the show, hence why we're in the booth right now. And also Tack Driver TV, they're a big Zeus. They are Zeus Broadheads. So I don't know if you knew this, but Tack Driver TV has a crossbow section where they're looking for video content leading with a Zeus broadhead. So it's just food for thought. I don't know what kind of broadhead you use now.
Right now I shoot G5.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, they're really good people, and they've treated us pretty well for a while. So I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a local Michigan company, and they're only 45 minutes from us. And we love Nick. Nick's a great guy. I mean, we've been Facebook friends with him, and he's donated study forms to our wheeling team and stuff. And I mean, a top-notch guy. And we just had a relationship with G5 for a long time. And I mean, you guys know there's so many great products. And I mean, looking at these broadheads, obviously they're incredible. But
I don't know. Once I find a product in a company I like, it's just kind of hard for me to leave.
Amen, man.
Even if I'm not getting anything out of it, it's just I like it.
Right. No, loyal to the bone.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that.
We're loyal, but we don't bash other products. I mean, if it's a good product, it doesn't matter whose it is. We're gonna promote it as a good product. I mean, and that's Austin's kind of fortunate because he has the autonomy to say whatever he wants to about things and not make anybody that we work with mad or anything like that. So it's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to know what your most memorable hunt is.
Most memorable hunt?
Yeah.
That'd be my elk hunt back in 2007.
Hold on.
Elk.
Come on now.
2017, I got somebody donated their elk tag to me in Michigan. In Michigan, there's only 200 elk tags a year, so it's really, really hard to draw one. And somebody donated it to me, and we went out on public land and guided ourselves. It was me, my mom, and my dad, and we killed an elk on public land in Michigan. And as far as I know, it's the only elk killed in Michigan with a crossbow. Or it was the first one, yeah. And it was the only elk killed with a arrow that season.
2017.
Archery equipment.
Wow. He's the only one who hunted elk with archery equipment in Michigan that year.
That's amazing.
Everybody just says it's incredibly hard to get on an elk, and you have to use a guide, and you have to use a gun. And they were like, it's on of a lifetime. And I was like, that's why I want to do it my way. I want to hunt. Like, I don't just want to kill something. I want to go out there and put myself in this creation and just, I don't know, chase the animals.
Hell yeah, that sounds awesome. Can you take us through the kind of the hunt itself? Because you made it sound like it's easy, but I'm sure it wasn't. So what was your approach?
We didn't really have an approach. We just we talked to some people, and they were like, "We've seen elk here, there, blah blah blah," and we just went in there, and my track chair broke down 2 times the first day. Was it the first day?
Yeah.
Yeah. It my tilt on my chair quit working, so every time I was driving, my chair would lift up towards the sky, and I'd just be lean straight back. But we got that figured out, and we went up and we found this. When we were driving around, we found a gas well, and for some reason, I don't know if the elk, if there's minerals at the bottom of the gas well or something, but there's tracks all around it, and the elk seemed to feed on something at the bottom of it. Not really sure what it is, but so we found that spot. We set up there the first day, didn't see anything because we got out there late. And the next day, we went back to the spot, and there was a guy sitting there. And I was like, oh, crap. But he was a nice fella. He left. He let us have the spot. He was scouting for his buddy, but he said we could keep it. So we sat there, and my dad was calling, calf calling, and he sounded miserable.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Don't have him call for you.
Okay. How'd you kill your elk?
But all right, I gotta give him credit after this, a little bit later. We're sitting there, and we didn't expect to see an elk or anything, because from what we had heard, it's just ridiculously hard. And
we honestly thought, because the Michigan early season is broken up into either 3 or 4 3-day sections, and so we figured that we'd probably wind up scouting the first 3 times on public land, because he loves on public land, and then we'd probably hire someone to go kill one on private land, but that's not how it worked out.
It was the second day, and we're sitting there, and I look at my dad, I was like, just call a couple more times. So he called 5 times in a row, little calf calls, and they actually turned out great. Perfect. So he reaches up and turns on the camera and presses record. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not filming anything. And so he sits back down, and about 3.5 minutes later, here comes an elk, and she's walking into the gas well.
Well, I say there's an elk. He didn't believe me at all.
He's like, there's an elk. I'm like, you're lying, dude. There's no way.
There's
awesome. No way we're seeing an elk in Michigan.
Right.
And she was by herself. She came in looking right up at us, because I don't know if she heard the call, and that's what she was coming into, but she looked right up at us and then looked down and walked into the gas well. And the gas well was 48 yards. So the day before, I set my sight on 48 yards, and I shot at a mule deer before at 48 yards. So I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But I didn't set it on 48 yards the day before, and she came in 48 yards.
Really?
Perfectly broadside. Then stopped. And I was like, there's nothing I can do to make this any better other than shoot her.
Yeah.
So that's how we did it. And we killed her. And, it wasn't an easy track job or anything. We didn't have a blood trail for some reason. She was quartering a little bit, I guess. Well, she was broadside. And then she turned when I shot, and it covered up the hole.
It turned so she was quartering too,
yeah.
A little bit, and the arrow went in, and basically he shoots black eagles,
yeah.
And so he buried it. I don't know, what was it, 24 inches? So
Yeah,
his
it's a
arrows are
24
24
inch
inches. He shoots out of his crossbow. He shoots actual regular arrows, but not crossbow bolts. And he buried that whole thing inside of her, but since it was going in lengthwise, we didn't get an exit hole. It barely poked the skin on the far side. And
Yeah,
it went through the liver, and that liver just slowed it right
35
down.
inches of penetration, but it was just
And,
across the body, so it didn't work out right.
And so the way she was twisted when she turned, her hide was twisted back, and then when she turned, it didn't line up with the hole, through her rib cage.
Yeah.
And so there was no blood. I found blood,
80
yards away up on top of the hill where she stood. I found one drop of blood, and I couldn't find anything else. And I'm pretty good at blood tracking.
We woke up at, what was it, like 3 in the morning and went back out there to try tracking her. And
That must have been devastating
it was
for the night.
awful.
We thought for sure that we'd find her dead up there because she stood up there after he shot her.
I thought for sure I was going to flip over driving through this stuff.
Oh my word, it was miserable. They just clear cut it, and it was up and down ravines. We got a lot of hilly stuff up there, and they leave all the tailings from the clear cuttings and stuff, and we were going through there in the middle of the night. But before that, after he shot the elk, we decided, well, we're going to wait, give her some time. So we drove to Walmart. There's a Walmart like 45 miles
Got
away.
like how many bags of ice?
I bought 400 pounds of ice. So I'm in
He
Walmart.
was so sure that we're just going to go cut her up and put her on some ice.
Yeah.
I'm in Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning buying 400 pounds of ice, tarps, and some knives. The clerks were looking at me awful funny. But and then, we went back and started tracking her that night. And I couldn't find any blood, and we couldn't find her. And I searched till about, 10, 11, and then we made some calls. There's a really well-known deer tracker, Robert Miller in Michigan, dog tracker, and we called him. He couldn't make it up, and he got a hold of another guy, Rick, and his dog Squirt brought this little dachshund up there, dash hound up there,
little tiny thing,
and she couldn't get on blood either. And I mean, we walked, I don't know, probably a mile around.
They were walking around for 2 hours, and I was just like, I didn't kill her. There's no way. I was kicking myself. But
we're walking, and we actually, at this point, I started getting a little dejected, so I went over on the next ridge, and then I was like, oh, man, how do I tell this kid that he didn't, that he shot this elk, but he didn't kill her? And because, I mean, that's the worst feeling for anybody is to shoot an animal and to think that it's suffering or that you didn't kill it or make it. Excuse me.
So what are your, what's going on through your head right now when your dad's trying to track it and you're?
I was freaking out. I was just trying to stay calm, trying to keep positive that she was going to be dead up there or something, that she's not wounded, not running around hurting.
Right.
And sure enough, after about 2 hours, I get a picture, a text message, and it's the dog sitting next to the elk. And apparently they were walking by, and the dog just started getting squirrely. And they looked down, and goes, "There's your elk." It was that. There was no... They just kind of found it. There's no blood trail, no tracking it. It was just kind of a search and find it.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
It was. I'm still in shock over how it happened.
I can only imagine the emotional roller coaster you're experiencing the whole night before, prior, and then you go out to the woods when you have some daylight and still kind of having that lingering feeling of, oh man, did I do it or not?
And then we had that feeling that, if she is dead, is the meat going bad? Because it was 80 degrees or so.
Oh my
God. It was the end of August.
Yeah, end of August. So.
Jeez Louise.
But, I mean, sure enough, all the meat was great. Everything, it worked out. It just did.
That's awesome.
And that's the one hunt I've actually made a short film out of, and that one that I'm actually proud of making. That video means a lot to me, even though I'm kind of reserved about sharing it and stuff and watching it because it's emotional. But I wanted to make a video that had a purpose and a meaning, so that's what I tried to do.
And you can find that it's right on our Jones Boys Hunting Squad Facebook page too. So if anybody wants to watch it, I encourage them to do so. It's pretty good.
It sounds awesome. We got to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I want to. Is there a bunch of hunts on there?
No, there's only that's the only full hunt, and then we got a couple short videos.
Yep.
But
highlight clips.
Yeah. It's hard for us to capture all the content because we do most of our filming ourselves.
That's awesome.
It's hard for him to help me shoot and film and take care of me all at the same time. So we miss a lot of stuff, and it'd be a lot easier to make videos if we had a cameraman. But
I know that's something I think a lot of people struggle with, man.
Yeah, it's. I mean, in our situation, and I'm not trying to discount anybody else, but it's pretty unique with everything that he's got going on with his ventilator and me helping him shoot his crossbow, and then we try to run a camera. So we have, and we do pretty good sometimes, but the last year or so we haven't even really been trying to film much because it's just so frustrating, and then he doesn't get the footage he wants because he likes to produce high-quality stuff instead, and I think,
Yeah, I'm pretty picky
I argue with
about
him all the time. I'm like, no,
making
son, people
videos.
just want to see your content. They don't care how fancy it is.
Yeah.
You know what? At the end of the day, that's what I've come to find, and as well as Trevor, is content is everything.
Yeah.
So even, and it's good to be picky, though, because your videos are awesome.
Thanks.
So, I mean, content is everything. You could have 1 million views on shitty quality video, but if the content's there, then you don't even have to worry about
Right,
it. It's
right.
insane.
And we got tons of good content. If I could get someone to use his editing skills and put it together.
Yeah. So that's pretty dope, man. Can you give us a rundown on your setup, because you're shooting a crossbow, right?
All right, yeah.
So how are you able to shoot a crossbow? Can you break it down?
I shoot a Gearhead X16. That's the crossbow I shoot, and it's got a great trigger in it. So, but my dad actually helps me shoot. So he uses his thumb to pull the trigger. He sits next to me. He holds the crossbow, and I look through the scope, and I tell him up, down, my way, your way, and shoot. And he pulls the trigger with his thumb when I say shoot. So it took years of practice. It really did. I've been shooting a crossbow since I was 12. And, at first I was lucky if I could keep it in the phone, but now we got it down to a science kind of, I guess. It works out.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. Started shooting since 12. So actually, now that we're talking about shooting, and starting shooting since you were 12, I mean, I think it's a perfect segue to talk about some of your accomplishments along the way, man. So, I mean, you take it from there, wherever you want to start.
So was it 2015 when I started doing IBO?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So back in 2015, I started shooting competition IBO stuff in the physically challenged class. And my first year there, I got second place, and it was at the Worlds. And I was proud of that. I was like, all right, this is my first major shoot, and I got second place. And so the next year, I won it, and I won 3 out of the 4 in that class. So. And then the next year, I didn't shoot as much of it, but I started doing ASA stuff. So that went 2017.
Yeah, that's Archery Shooters Association.
Yeah, Archery Shooters Association. They've been great to me, but they opened, I don't know, they just opened their arms and let me into the crossbow classes, which is where I want to be. I want to shoot against the best competition I possibly can. So I started shooting in the ASA. My very first target ever, I was like, this is going to be easy, because the ASA is known yardage, IBO is judging. So I was like, we're going to just drill this thing. First target, I got a 0. I missed, because my dad here.
Here we go again, guys.
He punched the trigger a little early, sent the arrow flying over the back. But we got it figured out after that. It took a while to figure out the targets and all that, but in 2018, I won the ASA Classic, which is the world championship in the crossbow class, and that was, I'm still in awe over that, too. I never imagined that I'd be a world champion at anything, let alone, against able-bodied guys and, beating the best in the world. It's crazy. And then, I don't know, I haven't done, last year I shot, but I didn't win anything, and it was, I don't know, there's a lot of highs and lows, but it's cool.
It's all good, right?
Yeah.
All good in the hood.
It is.
Yeah, last year was really rough because I worked a lot, so we didn't practice, and I didn't realize how important our practice actually is, but our timing and, just the cadence of the way, because he tells me up, down, my way, you're shooting, and it's not so much his saying it, but my ability to listen to it was really, if I didn't realize it, but the year he won the world championship, we spent a lot of time working to be good.
The story for that world championship is ridiculous. How it went down.
Well, then, so tell it.
All right, so we went to the shoot, and did we change my strings the day before we left?
No, we changed them there.
Yeah, we changed them. We changed my strings when we got there. All right, so, but I got rogue bowstrings. They're killer. They don't move an inch. So we're practicing, and nothing was working right. Finally, later in the day, we got it dialed in, and then it wasn't working again. So our friends helped us sight in my crossbow, get us ready for the shoot the next morning while we went out to dinner. And so
while we were out to dinner, I got to tell you guys are really cool. story about how cool this crossbow class is in the ASA. And if anybody out there shoots a crossbow, I encourage them to think about shooting it competitively because, I mean, I'm a vertical bow guy, but that class is so incredible and the people in it are so incredible. It's just really, really, it's a lot of fun. But so the reason that we weren't there sighting our own bow that night is because we got invited out to dinner by the rest of the guys in the crossbow class, and they all pitched in and bought Austin this really, really nice Leupold scope. It's the one that, I don't know, it's got the built-in level in it and all kinds of stuff that it's way above my pay grade, but and that's just the kind of people they are there, so it's really, like I said, I'd encourage anybody who hasn't ever shot competitive archery or anybody who's shooting a crossbow who might want to try it to do it because it's a blast. Anyways, back to Austin. Sorry.
So the next day comes around, and it's the morning where the shoot starts at noon, so we're getting ready. And, 2 hours before the shoot, my rest broke on my crossbow.
Oh, no.
So we had to scramble and try to fix that. He fixes the rest. 15 minutes left before the shoot. We shoot our last 4 arrows at 40 yards. 40 yards.
Yeah.
And I was like, so 2 hit close together, and 2 were like 7 inches apart. So I was like, just grab the 2 that are close and let's go. So I went out there. First target, I got a 12. Second target, 12. Third target, 12. Fourth target, 12. Fifth target, 12. I started off with 5 12s in a row, which is something I've never done before. And I guess from that, the first arrow I led until the end of the shoot, I was winning.
You led it from wire to wire. And so the way, in case some people listening don't know how scoring in the ASA works, so there are 3D targets. They use Mackenzie 3D targets, and the body, if you hit the body anywhere, it's a 5.
Yep.
If you hit, there's a big ring and outside of in the body, but outside of the kill zone. And if you hit that, that's an 8. And then there's a smaller circle, probably
It's a 5-inch circle.
5-inch circle in the middle.
Yep.
And if you get that, that's a 10. And then there's a inch and a quarter, inch and an eighth.
Inch and a half, maybe.
Inch and a half.
Yeah, 12 ring.
12 ring. Yeah, it's probably
ring.
a little over an inch. And then, so that's a 12 ring. So that's the scoring is 5, 8, 10, and 12. And so to shoot 5 12s to begin it, and then
That's
to
insane.
lead.
Absolutely.
And then for him to lead wire to wire. I mean, I didn't even realize it. We didn't. Continue on.
I shot great the first day. I had 13 12s, 26 up. I was on cloud 9. And then the next day comes around, I shot 16 up, and I had 2 8s. So I was like, that's not how I wanted to shoot. Like, I didn't hit a single 8 the first day, and then I got 2 the second day. So I thought for sure that somebody was going to pass me, and it just didn't happen. Like, on the last target, we went down to the target, took a picture, and came back. And
Well, tell them what happened on your last arrow, though.
Oh, my second to last arrow. A guy broke my arrow.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
And,
So now you're down to 1 arrow.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. And it's not my favorite arrow. So I shot the last target, and that was my second 8 was the last target. And that's when I thought for sure that I lost the lead. And I don't know, we went down, took a picture, and came back, and everybody's standing at our stake. And I'm like, what's going on here? And they're like, you won. Like, I was like, what? And I just started bawling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was emotional.
For sure. I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine.
Like, all the things that went wrong leading up to that point, and it just worked out.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, and then tell them about, though, the national championship IBO when you won that, though. How crazy that story is with the 324.
Oh, you tell him that one.
So
I got to stretch for a second.
There you go.
He, when he was still shooting IBO, we were the king of car trouble, so we had to buy a new vehicle to make it to, or we were buying a used vehicle to make it to the shoot, and so we were buying it on the day we were supposed to leave. Things went bad. We left late, and we're driving. I got tired, and so we decided to get a hotel room. We stopped at this hotel, and they only have one room left, and it's room number 324. And when he was shooting IBO, par, if you call it, is 300, and then you can get 30 bonus points. So the 330 is a perfect score. And so I'm carrying Austin to the room, and the room's 324. I said, that's what you need to shoot this weekend. And he's like, yeah, right, Dad. And so the next day, he winds up shooting a 159. And so in order to shoot a 324, obviously you'd have to shoot a perfect score. Nobody shoots a perfect round. So the next day we start on the course, and you're 2 arrows into it, and then the president of the IBO shows up.
Can you put my head back up? We'll finish this. Yeah, if you can.
Yeah, he's got a heavy head.
Yeah.
He's got a
lot of brains.
Yeah, you got that right.
I just don't want. You good?
Yeah, that's good.
A lot of rocks.
Thank you.
Yeah. His head's bigger than mine. You believe it? I'm Mexican.
Yeah, that's much better.
Cool.
So he starts the next day, gets a couple arrows in, or a couple targets into it, and then he shot 2 12s or 2 11s. I'm sorry. And IBO, the max score is an 11 ring. They don't have a 12 ring. So he shoots 2 11s, and then the president of the IBO shows up, and normally he'll show up and check on people and see how they're doing. Then he'll move on to another course, usually a pro course or whatever. And so he starts walking with us, and Austin keeps shooting. And he's shooting and shooting and shooting, and we don't really pay too much attention to the score while we're shooting. And we get to the 14th target, and Brian, the president of the IBO, says, "Hey, Bill, how many 11s does Austin have?" And Bill goes, 14. And Austin automatically is like, "What? What are you doing? You don't talk when someone's throwing a perfect
Can't ruin my perfect game."
Yeah. And lo and behold, by the grace of God, he was able to shoot an 11 on the 15th target, so he shot a perfect round
324
and shot a 324. I mean, it was just things like that. It's just, we got so many crazy stories that don't make sense why they work out. I mean, it's the man upstairs, but it's just
we're blessed.
But I don't know, just 3D archery and the competitive archery and the people that we meet throughout the industry, if you will, it's just been incredible. And I mean, I know that there's good eggs and bad eggs, but we've been fortunate to find all the good eggs, so it's pretty awesome. It's I don't know if there's anything that we could do that would allow him and I to have this kind of bond that we have, or do the things we do.
Right.
So it's I don't know, it's pretty amazing. We love shooting arrows.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't know. He's pretty hard on you, though.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do it.
He's
pretty hard on me, too, those.
Is he? All right.
It's a two-way street here.
Okay.
Really? Have you guys seen that it was a two-way street here? Have I seen anything hard on him? No.
He talks more crap than just about anybody I know.
Hanging out last night, I saw the two-way street.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street.
Exactly.
we had a good time last night.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Talking about good times, so what are some of the things, aside from bow hunting or even shooting, that you like to get into? Some of your hobbies?
I really don't have any. I like adventuring. That's my biggest thing. I like to travel. I like to see new things. I like to meet new people. I just like to see the world. That's my big thing. I would like to hunt every possible species there is, or just travel the country and see different cultures. That's my go-to.
That's awesome. You have anything planned for this year at all?
We have some things in mind, but not set in stone plans. But we're gonna try the turkey.
Other than tomorrow, we're going to hunt.
Whitetails.
Yeah. That's kind of set
true.
in stone.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Hell yeah!
Where are you going to do that?
Missouri.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess they got a bunch of does that
need some killing.
Yeah, so I guess they heard me.
Or maybe they need to be harvested. I don't know how you guys feel.
No.
We kill stuff, and then we harvest the meat from it.
It's all about the bros and does.
Yeah.
Bros and does.
Yeah.
Do you need help killing does tomorrow in Missouri?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's why they brought Austin in was for help.
Yeah.
But Austin won't. Dang it. Austin won't tell this part about you, but the kid gives back since he's graduated from high school, and he's given away. And not only has he bought everybody in the family a new bow, sometimes more than once.
Wow!
But out of his own money, he's given away between 10 and 12 complete archery setups to people that a lot of times that he don't even know. He'll see a Facebook post. I remember one time he saw a Facebook post, and it was a father and a son whose bows had got stolen out of their shed. And I was like, oh, too bad we didn't have some for him. And he goes, we got your bow. So he gave my bow, and I had a really, really nice dart and all decked out. I mean, it was loaded. And
Didn't I get that for you for your birthday or Christmas or something?
Yeah, he got it for me for something, and then just took it away from me. But
Indian giver, huh?
Yeah,
somebody else needed it more. That's how it goes.
Right.
And
that's amazing.
He's done that so many times. And another quick little story, if it's okay. But last year, in December, and this just kind of give you a little bit about Austin's character, what kind of person he is. A friend of ours was going to take a little boy who had childhood cancer hunting, and we're watching on Facebook, and nothing happened. So I reached out to him and said, hey, I know you're busy. You want us to maybe see if we can do something for him? And he's like, yeah. So we reached out to him, and we talked to his name was Ben, and we talked to his dad, whose name was Keith, and we kind of set it up for later on in December because Austin and I, we had 10 days scheduled where we were going to Illinois and Missouri. We got some friends there we were going to hunt with, and so it's on a Sunday, and we'd, like I said, we'd set it up for later on in the month, and Sunday, and we're all loaded up to go to Missouri, and we decided, well, let's go down and meet Ben and let him take your tractor for a ride. And he'd lost his leg earlier in the summer to his cancer, and so he hadn't done a whole lot of stuff. And so we show up there, and immediately he comes out, and the first thing he wants to do is get in the tractor and take it for a ride. So, and it's December, it's cold. Last December was pretty cold.
Yeah.
And so we hop in it, and we drive all around his trailer park for an hour or so, and his dad says to me, he goes, that's the first time he smiled since Thursday, and this is on a Sunday, and that's tough for
4
a dad
days.
to hear.
Wow.
And so we go inside to warm up and stuff, and we're sitting there talking, and Ben's sitting over by his mom, and I hear Austin and I both hear Ben say to his mom, well, first his dad let us know that they canceled his Make-A-Wish trip because they weren't sure that he would be able to make it. And then we hear his mom and Ben talking, and Ben says to his mom, I want to borrow his chair. And his mom's like, oh, silly, what are you going to do with that? Well, he drove it every single day for the rest of his life. That night, Austin turned to me and goes, we're not going hunting. And we left his chair there. And and then that Thursday, we were able to get Ben out hunting. He got his first deer. And then we were able to go hang out with him a couple more times. And then hung out with him for the last time on that Sunday. And the following Tuesday, he passed away. But it's just moments like that, I mean, you can't. There's nothing that we could ever do that's more important than that. Those kind of moments. And that year we actually lost one little boy that we knew for quite a long time. He was actually supposed to be the one who got Austin's elk tag, but until that year in Michigan, you had to be at least 10 to get a transfer, and Charlie was only 9. And matter of fact, to go back to when Austin won the world championship, so Charlie passed away 5 or 6 days before the world championship.
I think so. Yeah.
And so I wrote Charlie Strong on my hand here, and
oops, what happened?
So he wrote Charlie Strong on his hand. Well, what did that signify for you?
He wrote it on his hand, and he wrote it on my arm, and I don't know, I looked at it before every target, and it just kind of worked.
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
I don't know. I want to talk about all that because I get emotional.
That's all right, man. This is the place to do it, and that's real. You know what I mean? We all cry. I mean, well, maybe Trev cries all the time.
Yeah.
He's a whiny baby. But
I'm actually kind of getting a little choked up just hearing the damn stories. Man.
Yeah,
Come on.
you know.
Yeah, me too. That's fine.
I could almost envision it because I can only imagine the situation, the feeling. But just to have Charlie Strong right there, I guess you could say he was there at the competition.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if I would have won if I didn't have that on my arm, to be honest. It just, I don't know, there was nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Right.
Everything, I don't know, it seemed so much easier.
Before every shot, Austin looked at his arm, and I looked at my thumb, and I mean, it was, I don't know, that was the most smooth sailing shooting weekend we ever had, even with all the issues that we had, and we're famous for having all kinds of issues and breakdowns and whatever it is, and so it's just, I don't know, those kind of moments right there, or hunting for me, I've been a hunter since, well, I guess my first hunting experience was I was 8 years old, had a single mom, never had a man show any interest in me or whatever, and her boyfriend took me out, said, hey, you want to go hunting with me? Took me out, we went traipsing through the field behind the apartment complex. I'm pretty sure we were hunting pheasants, but I'm not sure. I was 8 years old. And that was the first time that a man or a father figure had ever shown any. My dad skipped out when I was a baby. But that was the first time anybody ever showed any interest in me. And so I think that's, at that moment right there, I knew I was a hunter. I mean, we're hunters. I mean, there's nothing, every human being is a hunter, whether they admit it or not. That's what we're supposed to be. We're predators. I mean, that's why we have these front-facing eyes and these incisor teeth and all that. So, but it's more than that to me. I think it's, you guys know, it's a bond. I mean, the bond that we get through hunting and the people that we meet hunting and all that stuff, it's just, so hunting to me is what turned me into a man, if you will, or helped raise me. I didn't have a dad, so I grew up reading all the magazine articles and all the different authors through, Field and Stream and Sports and Field. And those are the guys who raised me. So when my kids came along, that's what that's the only guideline I had to raise kids. You know, I mean, was what I learned from the hunters that I knew in my life and stuff, because I didn't have a father figure growing up, and so I don't even know how I'm getting off on this tangent.
No, it's all good.
But I mean, just hunting has just been so important to us. You know, and I don't know if I told you guys, but my brother was killed in a hunting accident in 1988. I was 17, he was 14, and there was me and 4 of our buddies and my brother, and we made a mistake. We were bird hunting, we were pheasant hunting, and we were getting ready to move up northern Michigan, and it was our last hunt, and so we went out hunting and we flushed a woodcock, and nobody shot it, and we saw where it landed, and so we decided to push this swale. Guys got crossed up. We didn't take 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds to make sure that we all knew what we were doing, and my brother paid with his life. And I mean, if you're listening to this, you don't get any do-overs in hunting. You make that mistake, you can't get it back, and it hurts for the rest of your life. So, you know, just make sure that whatever you're doing, you're hunting safe. But to the same respect, hunting is that important to me in my life that it never deterred me from hunting, or it never made me think that hunting shouldn't be part of my life. And that's, I don't know, it's just, what this does for you is just, I don't know, it's beyond description.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
it's life-changing. It could be life-changing for the worse, but I feel the hunting is life-changing for the better always.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, my brother is a horrible statistic that should have never happened. And, I mean, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a hunting accident, because you show me one that can't be prevented with normal common sense and doing the right thing, doing your due diligence before you go out and make sure you're safe, and we didn't. And, you know, and so if the loss of my brother and the pain that I feel from it can be a lesson for someone else and make someone else think twice about it, then it's not in vain, but, you know. So.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to take this moment, Austin, for Ninja Tip of the Day.
Ninja Tip of the Day.
Yeah, what's your best outdoor advice or even life advice for our listener out there?
Life advice or outdoor advice is live. Basically, that's my only advice, is to live, because life is, we only get one chance at life, and we don't get any do-overs, like he said, so just go out there and live it. Do what makes you happy. I mean, hunt what you want to hunt. There's no real way to go about life. There's no perfect way to do it. Just do your own thing and be happy. Do what makes you happy.
That's awesome, man. And you're definitely a fighter, man. You're here to inspire, and trust me, you're doing just that, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. Jason, what do you got, Ninja Tip?
He's pretty slow.
Really?
He's not much of a ninja by any means.
Are you kidding me? I made it through three years in ninja school, but you guys know I got a bad grill, and you can't be a ninja if you can't catch bullets in your teeth. So that's the only reason I got kicked out of ninja school. But so you can just throw someone else under the bus, all right? I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I love your family, love your friends. I mean, try to do the right thing, try to give back. You know, give thanks to whoever you give thanks to. We give our thanks to God. I mean, but if you choose to give your thanks to someone else, do it. But just, I mean, appreciate what we have here. Everybody in this world is so uptight and so missing the big picture. This world is way better. People are way better than what it shows on TV, social media right now. They're highlighting the bad instead of the good. Look, there's what, 1,500 people in here that if any of us needed something would probably do it for us right now.
Exactly.
I mean, but of course, we're in an industry where we all have the same interests, all the same likes, so we're all, you know, I mean, it's normal that most of us would get along, but I think the whole world's like that. I mean, really, if we just slow down, quit putting the petty stuff up front, and just, you know, I mean, get back to being, you know, humankind, you know?
I love that, for sure.
So
You're going to like this next segment, Austin. You'll get a kick out of this.
All right.
So we did something a little positive, and now we go to the negative spectrum. What rattles your antlers, Austin?
What rattles your antlers?
Yeah, what gets under your skin? What bothers you the most?
Honestly, it's probably something pretty petty. But, like, if I'm going through somewhere public and there's a kid looking at me curious, like, I want them to know that I'm just a normal person, but if their parents tell them no, or, like, try to shoo them away from me, that's teaching the kid to not, like, approach disabled people normal, you know what I mean? And that happens a lot. Like, I don't know, going through stores and stuff, there's always parents turning their heads away from me, and it's, I don't know, it's annoying. Like, I understand that I'm different, but I don't want to, like, I don't know, kids need to understand that everybody's the same. Like, on the inside, we all bleed red. Like,
amen, brother.
Amen.
Amen to that. I like that.
But,
I mean, you're funnier than most.
But looks aren't everything.
I seen that one coming. I've heard that one about like 60 times in my life.
Because you're ugly.
I don't know. Last night
Genetics.
proves otherwise.
Yeah.
Last night proves otherwise. So, Jason, what rattles your antlers, man?
I guess currently, I mean, since we're in a hunting show, all the people who think that their way of hunting is better than someone else's way of hunting, if it's legal, if it's ethical, if you enjoy it, if it gets your heart pumping, do it. If you want to use a crossbow, use a crossbow. If you want to use a longbow, use a longbow. If you want to use a grenade launcher, I don't know if it's legal, but if it was, use it. If
Go
you want
for
it.
it.
I don't know what's going to be left after that, but
if you want to kill a 4-point, kill a 4-point. If you want to kill a spike, kill a spike. If you want to kill a booner, kill a booner. But don't get mad at someone else for doing what they want to do. I mean, when I was a kid, and I think a lot of it is we've gotten away from the social aspect of hunting. I know that doesn't make sense, but when I was young, we did a lot of other types of hunting. We weren't all bow hunters. Now, I mean, the majority of people that we all know are bow hunters, but we small game hunted, and we did, family things. And opening day of pheasant season, I would take that off every year from school, and my uncle and my grandpa and family members would come up, and we'd hunt together, and it was just a family thing, and nobody was bashing anybody for whatever they were doing or whatever, and so we enjoyed it, and it was more about connecting. And I think we need to get back to, just instead of worrying about how someone's hunting, just worrying about the people. Let's just be good to each other. And whether right now in the hunting world, our numbers are dwindling big time, and everybody thinks that their way of hunting is better than someone else's way of hunting, or that they don't want crossbows in archery because of the tradition. Well, I'm sorry, but our archery tradition in the United States isn't that old. I mean, really, our hunting heritage goes back to firearms. So, I mean, if we want to do that, then archery is probably, I know this is kind of off on a tangent, but, I mean, the rise in popularity in archery hunting, bow hunting, also coincides with the decline in hunter numbers. And I think a lot of it is because bow hunting isn't nearly as social as a lot of other types of hunting. Once we start bow hunting, now you're down to a hunting partner instead of a group of guys going out pheasant hunt or rabbit hunt. You're hunting with one or two guys, usually. Right. And you're not taking your kids out in your prime woods because you small game hunt in October or September, and so you're not going to mess up your deer woods because you don't want kids bumping your big buck around. And so we're missing out on the opportunities to recruit young hunters, new hunters, and it's because we've become really, really self-centered. I'm sorry, I'm pretty opinionated about that, but I think hunters, we've become way self-centered. We're not worried about getting more people into it, and we're going to basically, if we keep fighting amongst ourselves and not embrace all types of hunting, then we're going to ruin the heritage of hunting, and we're not going to have it because there's so few of us now compared to what there used to be. I don't know what our hunter numbers are, but they're down drastically from when I started hunting. When I was in high school, we used to take our single-shot shotguns, break them down, throw them in our book bags, ride the bus home to our buddies, and go squirrel hunting after school. And that was normal. That wasn't a big deal.
Try doing that now.
Yeah,
exactly.
in a federal prison,
Exactly.
But it was all social stuff, and it wasn't a competition. Now everything is a competition that we hunt, And like I wrote an article one day, and I said, there's no trophy value in a limit of squirrels, so nobody hunts squirrels because there's no trophy value there. Everyone. It's a competition. Everyone wants to trophy hunt, whether we're shooting booners or shooting Pope and young deer or just shooting a bigger deer than you shot before. Everybody wants to outdo something, and it's just getting carried away. I mean, we should just go out there for the love of it instead of.
So to bounce off of that, Austin, how do you want to leave, like, your last word? What do you want to tell the listener out there as far as the hunting world goes?
I don't really know.
Well, I mean, just the first thing that pops into mind.
First thing that pops into mind.
Follow you on Instagram?
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. Are you on Instagram, too?
Yeah, Austin.ajones. That's,
Oh, nice.
That's my Instagram. I don't post on there enough, but I need to. But I don't know. There's just, I don't know. Just live life. That's really my only thing that I tell people.
Nice.
Live intrepid.
Yeah, live intrepid. I guess I should throw that out there because that's one thing that is big to me is intrepid. Like, live fearless, live adventurous, and just live life to the fullest. Chase your dreams. Do what makes you happy.
Sweet. So what better way to do the Round of Positivity? Trev, what do you have Round of Positivity?
You got me off guard here.
Yes, I did my job well then.
Round of Positivity, man, is that, I don't even know. I'm like, you
Same.
got me lost for words.
Exactly.
I'm just honestly truly inspired. What you're doing is amazing. It's kind of, I've been in a roller coaster of emotions throughout this whole entire episode, and it's completely positive, the whole entire thing. What you're doing, man, just keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And you had me lost for words. That's not a normal thing.
So what I bring to the table for Round of Positivity is you, Austin, and Jason, you pushing your kid to continue. Not that he lacks the strive, right? But it's a beautiful relationship what you guys have because, it's father and son, but it seems more like brothers, if that makes any sense. You guys are always doing it together and poking fun at each other, like that's deer camp. That's the brotherhood, so to speak.
Yeah,
it's very beautiful to see, man. And I feel like I'm only assuming, and we all know what that does. But I feel like where you get that from is, like you said, growing up with a father. So right now you're being the best father you can be, and that's more needed out there.
I'm trying, and I'll have to admit, it took me 3 kids to become a good father.
She wants to jump on the mic.
And honestly, I mean, what we're doing here, if it wasn't for my wife pushing me, when Austin wound up on life support, I mean, he's been on life support since he was 6 years old. But when he wound up on life support, I would have put him in a bubble. I was so scared of everything. Uh-huh. Our first hunt out west, we were only supposed to, it was a hunt with an organization, and we were only supposed to be 2 of us. And I was like, at the last minute, I threw my wife in the truck because I was scared to death.
Yeah.
I was scared to death to do anything with Austin because, I mean, it's a pretty big responsibility. I mean, this fall.
My life's literally in his hands 24/7, so.
Yeah. This fall, we spent 8 or 9 days, just him and I camped in the national forest, and we didn't see another person, and I would have never done it. His mom.
On a mountain. It's just.
His mom doesn't get the credit she deserves for what we do, but without her, we wouldn't be able to do any of this. She lets me take time off work, and she lets me get away with, our house is a disaster. It's been in a state of remodel forever, and she deals with what I do because, I don't know, it's kind of cool because she told me, or someone said something about I get to do all this stuff with him, and she said, well, she had her time with him. I worked all through high school or while he was, and so it's just, I don't know. I got to just give my wife some credit for everything that I get to do. So
word up, man. So, Austin, and on a positive note, man.
And on a positive note.
What do you got?
Another positive one?
Another one. You're so full of them.
I don't even know. I say the same thing over and over again.
You are pretty redundant.
Yeah, just live
that's
life.
Cool.
No, but I don't know, just be happy. Life's short. I mean, tomorrow's not promised to anybody. Nobody on this earth is guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. So, I mean, live for today. Do what makes you happy. Just, I don't know.
On that note, stay stepping.
And stay slaying.
Podcast go straight to hell. Yeah. Speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
We keep it real on East Coast.
First of all, I'm addicted to the show.
I like that. That's cool.
Hunt, you live it, you breathe it.
It's a whole different world.
Just East Coast has a little bit more of an edge and a grind.
It's a fantastic thing. You guys are fucking awesome.
Well, number one is you guys like deer. I want to feel like I'm hanging with the boys.
You're the guys that showed up.
But I actually saw Jesus.
The point where it is now where it's insane.
Let's get the fuck
fuck out of here. Just want to get the realest people possible in the industry. And it's gonna piss people off. You're not doing it right. Nothing forced. All fucking natural.